Watching the Super Saturday debate with me, the cricketing world now finds itself at the heart of an extraordinary standoff as the ICC and the Bangladesh Cricket Board clash over the 2026 ICC T20 World Cup. It began as a venue-related dispute. It has now rapidly escalated into a controversy which is reshaping one of the sport's marquee events. At the center of the crisis is Bangladesh's firm refusal to travel to India for its Group C fixtures because they feel that their players could be targeted, there are security reasons and they feel unsafe to play in India. Well, the ICC has clearly rejected this, saying rules are rules and they have to be followed. But there's a catch to it. The ICC has replaced Bangladesh with Scotland in the tournament lineup, a decision which has sent shockwaves to the global cricket fraternity and drawn sharp criticism from Dhaka. Now, amidst all of this, there's Pakistan, which is also trying to fish in troubled waters. Pakistan Cricket Board has publicly backed Bangladesh's stand, even hinting at a potential boycott of the T20 World Cup if the ICC does not address what it calls double standards and unfair treatment. Pakistan stepping in has now raised eyebrows with some questioning whether this support is purely out of regional solidarity or whether it is to serve its own strategic interests within the sport's governance. Is this alignment by Pakistan an attempt to shield its own interests under the guise of defending Bangladesh, or is there something more to it, and why is it that Bangladesh could be put into a spot?
ख्याल है बांग्लादेश के साथ ज्यादती हुई है और मैंने आईसीसी की बोर्ड की मीटिंग में भी यही कहा था, आप डबल स्टैंडर्ड्स नहीं कर सकते हैं।
Okay, we're going to throw the floor open to all my special guests this evening. Atul Bhasan, former Indian cricketer, Ayaz Memon, senior sports journalist, Vineet Ramakrishnan from Cricket Next. But before I come to the other guests, let me just quickly get in a word from Vineet. Vineet, any reaction from the Bangladesh Cricket Board yet?
No, there has been no reaction from Bangladesh Cricket Board as of yet, and in fact, no, response from the Bangladesh Cricket Board to the ICC, despite the fact that ICC put out a 24-hour deadline that led to ICC putting out a press release and making it official that Bangladesh will be out of the T20 World Cup and they will be replaced by Scotland. So we don't have any reaction from Bangladesh Cricket Board or the fraternity as of now. But as you mentioned, Pakistan butting itself in is a whole different scenario altogether. It's a boycott threat which is not only disproportionate, but fundamentally the root cause of it is not at all there for Pakistan. It is just purely on a political basis where they are trying to probably target ICC's authority here, and in a way looking at trying to target BCCI and India's hosting rights as well. But Pakistan does not have any business here. The ruling has been done. Bangladesh are out, Scotland are in, and Pakistan butting in. It's just theatrics more than anything else.
Okay, thank you very much, Vineet, for putting all of this into perspective. Let me just go across to Mr. Atul Bhasan. Do you think Pakistan wading into the entire controversy, is it really about the game, or do you suspect there's just more to it?
What can you expect with a person like Mohsin Naqvi at the forefront of it? It's theatre of the absurd. And I think he's living in a la-la land when he says that they've got support to rally around Bangladesh. What support? There was just voting done by the ICC about whether to entertain Bangladesh's request. It was denied 14-2, and only two people, Bangladesh and Pakistan. So I think Pakistan is really enjoying this because they're beating India through a proxy of ICC and the cricket. And I tell you, and I think the Mohammad Yunus, I had great respect. I thought he was a Nobel laureate, a smart guy. But I think he's a plant. He's a clone from Pakistan. And Pakistan is using him to just maybe take revenge of 1971. This is what my theory is. Because Bangladesh is not realizing that's the only platform in world sports their Bangladesh name is there is because of cricket. And now they are just cutting their nose to spite their face. It's really sad. cricketers have been always collateral damage. There are 20,000 people living around my house, Bangladeshis, because there are a lot of condominiums in Gurgaon. I asked few of them, and they feel more secure in India than in Bangladesh. So what is this absurdity about security? I mean, if you want to be showing that they are sulking, just come and say, yes, we are sulking. Don't use this security concern. And this exactly use of this term is a proxy of Pakistan. And Mohsin Naqvi is just winding them up because Mohsin Naqvi also, now Pakistan has reached a stage where they use Kashmir enough as a pipe dream to rally the forces behind because it's the military regime. Now I think that it's getting stale. So now cricket is being used as the opium, and by just showing and just flouting India and the way he took the trophy and all that, he feels that there's a brownie point and the masses are supporting him. Somebody must have said कि क्या कमाल किया मोहसिन साहब आपने ट्रॉफी लेके आ गए और बहुत खुश है, पर ये नहीं पता कि दुनिया भर हंस रहा है इन पे.
Okay, Mr. Ayaz Memon, for many would argue, and many are arguing, and I see these responses coming in, that suppose India was asked to play in Pakistan, we wouldn't have played, saying that, because we don't have any ties with them. So when you talk about the sporting spirit and the spirit of the game and so on, and you're applying that in the case of Bangladesh, why is it that we have a different yardstick for ourselves? Would you agree with this alternative point of view?
I think it should never have reached this stage. It's a sad development that an international tournament is getting affected like this. I mean, Bangladesh is an international team and it's qualified for the World Cup and then not participating. Mind you, it's not that they are conceding points like it has happened earlier in 1996, 1999 World Cups, where teams didn't travel to Zimbabwe or to Sri Lanka because of some threat and they conceded the points. Here, Bangladesh has withdrawn completely. I think that they took a very hard and harsh position to start with after the Mustafizur Rahman event, which in itself was unfortunate, but they took a position that we will not come. I think there's something called cricket diplomacy, which has worked really well in the past in the subcontinent, whether it was, between India and Pakistan. And also, let's not forget that India was the country which brought Bangladesh into the ICC fold. So I thought perhaps there was scope for diplomacy. The BCB, the Bangladesh Cricket Board, could have worked with the BCCI, try and sort out matters. And instead of conflating that Mustafizur Rahman issue, which is a domestic tournament, the IPL, into an international tournament, and then you take such a rigid stand that there is no room for maneuver, no scope for negotiation. That's where they found themselves in. And then I thought that, the ICC used a finesse there by calling the meeting of the board of directors, representatives of all cricket playing countries, all those playing in the T20 World Cup were there. And, as Atul mentioned that, apart from Pakistan, nobody else supported Bangladesh. So Bangladesh got even more isolated. Yes, they've got Pakistan support, but it has not helped their cause of playing in the tournament. There is a loss to the players of that country and obviously to the board. But money aside, I think just the fact that a tournament like this gets fractured is an unfortunate development. And Bangladesh could have, I think, perhaps tackled it a little differently.
Okay. Vineet, what I really want to ask you is that, remember, and I think I was speaking to you about this a little earlier in the evening, India took a strong stand. The BCCI steps in. The KKR is told to remove one of the Bangladesh players. There's a lot of outrage over it. Many cricket lovers over here also wondered why is it that one has to do this. Do you think that Bangladesh's decision not wanting to play on Indian soil is also connected to this? Is it a bit of tit-for-tat and a revenge?
Not only connected to this, it started from there itself. Mustafizur Rahman saga was the one that really started, where Bangladesh Cricket Board or Bangladesh government took the stand that we are not going to go to India to play the T20 World Cup, because there was no other reason. Even if you had security issues, security threat as your main premise, ICC gave you full assurance that there won't be any security issues. Even the press release from the ICC clearly states that repeated reassurances were given. BCB were given a detailed security plan of what exactly would happen. So BCB were never really interested in engagement. They were interested in escalation, and this tit-for-tat stuff with what happened with Mustafizur Rahman, trying to equate it into a T20 World Cup scenario. Again, as Memon said, it is two different things altogether. So it was always the case of escalation rather than meaningful engagement from the Bangladesh Cricket Board or by extension the Bangladesh government as well in this regard.
Okay. And Mr. Atul Vasan, what next? I mean, now I can hear voices coming in from Pakistan that if our government allows, even we would not want to play, in this T20. We'd also opt out. Is it about sports anymore? Or do you see a kind of another political diplomatic axis which seems to be developing?
Again, it's comic for me because first of all, when Pakistan gives a statement, the whole world gets scared because the whole world is owed money by Pakistan to the world. So Pakistan can take a good. And I always say, if you have dysentery, never put the swar on in your nose. So I think this kind of bravado statements he's giving, not realizing that so basically cricket, if you see, cricket will not suffer. The World Cup will go on. World Cup will not miss Bangladesh. Even World Cup will not even miss Pakistan also because they, as it is, are not dishing out good quality cricket anyway. Even Scotland might as well work in blessing in disguise. तो फैंटा फर्क नहीं पड़ता अगर आए बांग्लादेश ना आए पर नुकसान जो है because there 300,000 participation fees है sanctions from the ICC now. If you have got a fight with one of your brothers in your house, you don't fight with the whole family and burn the house down. Is Pakistan going to do that? Because it is not a BCCI event. BCCI is a joint, the host, but it is an ICC event. So if Pakistan goes down this road, they have to live within the system. So then that trophy, which is not given back from Dubai, probably they can have the trophy between Bangladesh and Pakistan. They can have a separate series together.
Okay, Mr. Ayaz Mehman, it's also a lot about money. We'll talk about that a little later. But there was no end to it. I mean, if one would have listened to Bangladesh and tomorrow some other team say that we don't want to play here, we don't like so-and-so's face. Do you get this sense that the ICC has taken a very strong stand this time round and sent out a message possibly once and for all that, boss, we decide the venues and all of that. You cannot arbitrarily throw a tantrum and expect that we are going to take you along.
Yeah, I think, look, the parleys went on for about 3 weeks. The Mustafizur Rahman incident happened about, 3rd of January or something like that, about 3 weeks back. There's been a lot of toing and froing between the Bangladesh Cricket Board and the ICC. I think the ICC decided to assert its own authority and therefore, they put forward their preparations, the security, etc., which didn't convince the Bangladesh authorities. But as I mentioned, I think that these are, there is, at the government level, I know the relations between Bangladesh and India are strained right now, but there is something that could have been done at the government level. There is something that could have been done at the cricket level between the two boards. And that wasn't initiated or that wasn't tried out, in my opinion, enough. And it just kind of piled on to the ICC. It's Mustafizur Rahman's event also, in a sense, was unfortunate. It was, I mean, if you didn't want a Bangladeshi player to play, you shouldn't have ever included him in the auction. So that was not a great thing to happen. But having said that, I think wiser counsel should have prevailed rather than let it be conflated into something bigger.
Better would have been
the whole tournament, the T20 World Cup.
I noticed you nodding along, Mr. Vasan. So you agree? You think we also made that mistake? We also made that mistake?
No, I don't think so. I think if this undercurrent was going on, not putting the name in the auction would have been again a signal that we are, ostracizing you. I think the best would have been.
But isn't it worse to remove his name?
Put the name in the auction, but send out a signal. Don't pick any Bangladesh players. That's what happening with Pakistani players. Most of the Indian franchise owners are owning franchise teams across the world. Caribbean Premier League, ILT, all the leagues. They're Indian owners, Indian business houses. So they can't force their way that Pakistan, but they've been told, or there's a tacit understanding that we will not bid or pick up any Pakistani players in our franchisee owners. So similar could have been done with Bangladesh.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying.
In La La Land also.
So, Mr. Vasan, that's exactly what I'm saying. That given the fact that there's a friction between India and Bangladesh, don't you think the first mistake was made not to tell KKR or any Indian of those the bidders that please don't buy anyone from Bangladesh?
No.
Yeah?
No, because that time in middle of December, we never knew we will be standing here. The kind of the escalation of issues and the kind of where we were because Bangladesh was always allies in cricket also and a lot of things. I mean, look at the relationship with them. And now where we have reached, why we have reached, there are many issues. It could be what we are giving hosting their exiled leader also. So that is undercurrent. And now the shift in radical Islam, kind of narrative in Bangladesh also is the reason. Third of all, they don't realize, the financial loss. Because now with just being one player removed from IPL, they've chosen that and they have just burned the house down that, okay, we will not show IPL in Bangladesh and the Indian team is never going to go anywhere into Bangladesh. Now from this 300,000 participation fees goes, the money sanction, and Pakistani and Bangladeshi players will be in their own cocoon now. They will be suffering. So without every player, every reporter I've spoken to since yesterday, everybody's so disappointed in the cricketing community, but they can't do anything because it's again like in Pakistan, the strings are with the political party.
Yeah. That's the unfortunate part, because I went to Dhaka recently and over there I did meet one or two, though there was a match which was being played in Sylhet, but there were some of them who were there at the BCP office headquarters in Dhaka. And, I saw them practicing. So, they clearly wanted to play. Now, Vineet, did you pick up anything from your sources in the ICC or the BCCI or even from the KKR that what happened initially was something which could have been avoidable, but also that the BCCI and the ICC are very firm on this, that we are not going, there's a zero tolerance zone when it comes to throwing a tantrum about venues and other issues?
Well, talking about that Mustafizur saga, nobody really anticipated, as Atul Hasan mentioned, nobody really anticipated how it will escalate to this. Yes, putting the names on the auction, the names were there at the auction, KK were free to pick them up, they picked it up. Yes, there might have been this thing where you could have removed the players, but then again, nobody anticipated that it will be to that extent. However, having said that, once the Mustafizur saga was done and dusted, the main issue was BCB picking that as a point, that was the point where they said, security and safety concerns are there, despite reassurance from the ICC. And again, you're saying ICC took a hard stand. On the contrary, I believe ICC went by the procedure itself. There was no hard stand. It was by procedure they went. They got a board meeting out. They got the votes in favor of sticking to their schedule. They were in talks with BCB over these 3 weeks, but BCB was relentless. BCB, as I mentioned earlier, rather than looking at meaningful engagement or resolution, they were looking at escalation, right from the comments made by Asif Nazrul, the sports advisor of Bangladesh, to whatever public statements that were being made by the Bangladesh side. It was very much clear that they were looking to target India. They were, trying to weaponize that anti-India sentiment that is prevailing in that country. So it was never really about,
I want to say one thing,
looking at the forefront of cricket. It was always about escalation.
Yeah, Mr. Vasan, you wanted to say
I just want to give a message out to Bangladesh political party that, okay, you've said this, there's a security problem in India. Can you just take these 3 million Bangladeshis in India, because there's a problem for them also? So why don't you do something about getting them back home, because there's a problem in India?
But Mr. Mehman, when you talk about the Bangladesh cricket team, you talk about the players, many would criticize us also that we didn't want to play on Pakistan soil. We wanted an offshore venue where we can go and play. India and Pakistan will not play on each other's territory. So then Pakistan and Bangladesh will be asking that, why is India playing holier than thou? What would you want to say to that?
Well, there has been accommodation made, in the past. We've had a hybrid model come in when the Champions Trophy was played, India and Pakistan playing each other. We didn't want to go to Pakistan. That's the argument that Bangladesh have also brought up. But for the hybrid model to work, there has to be a meeting of at least an agreement. The terms of endearment have to be agreed on. But if the BCB and the BCCI, the Bangladesh Cricket Board and the BCCI are not talking to each other at the government level, there are no negotiations. That's what I mentioned. Now look at it this way. Mustafizur Rahman was dumped from the KKR team, and he would be in India playing along with the Bangladesh team.
Correct.
So, it's a bit of a rigmarole. I thought that's why I say that Bangladesh took a very strong position to start with and then left very little room for themselves also to maneuver.
Okay, yes, absolutely. So the spirit of the game concept certainly seems to have been eroded. It's now become all about politics and all about diplomacy, especially when it comes to Pakistan and Bangladesh. Many thanks, Mr. Vasan. Thank you very much, Ayaz, and thank you very much, Vineet, for joining us again. That's all we have time for now. But